Sleep is something I always had a problem with. My neck would go out. I'd sleep on a bad mattress. I know some of you are sleeping on some saggy old mattress. You don't want to sleep on a Bob saggy old mattress. You want to sleep on something better. You deserve something better than that. So give yourself an upgrade. I did this for my daughter. I got her a mattress from Helix Sleep. And let me tell you something, I'm not kidding. It changed her life and made her life better. Helix was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 and by GQ and Wired magazine. Just go to helixsleep.com/Bob, B-O-B, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. And right now, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/Bob. That's helixsleep.com/Bob. You'll sleep better. I'm telling you, you will. Just go to helixsleep.com/Bob. I shop online a lot. I do. I can't help it. And most of it is legal. No, all of it is legal because they can trace you. I saw it in a movie, in a documentary. And when you want to be able to afford certain things, you need help. And I'm going to tell you how you can get perfect help. It's from Honey. We've all seen that promo code field taunt us at checkout. But thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Honey saved me some money. It saved me money actually on some pizza. I like pizza, and it saved me money on some pads of paper. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/Bob. That's joinhoney.com/Bob, B-O-B. You want to do this, don't miss out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in seconds. And by getting it, I'm telling you, you're going to do yourself a solid and support this podcast. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/Bob. That's joinhoney.com/Bob. Hey, everybody. We are here. It's Bob Saget's Here For You. It's 2021. We're here. We've done it. We are here. Are we better? Some. We got a long way to go, and I hope you guys are okay, and you had a okay New Year, and we're moving onward, right? And that's what we're gonna do, because I'm thinking that all glasses are half full because my toilets aren't working. Hey, so this is Bob Saget's Here For You, and this is an episode that I love because I got such a sweet and such a funny and pure guy who loves comedy so much, and people love him, and rightfully so, Bert Kreischer, and he's going to be here in just a second. In the meantime, I'll just take a little bit of business. Let me tell you some business. The secret to success is to subscribe. You're also supposed to rate, review, and give me good reviews. I can't take bad ones. Come on, it's 2021. Let's go positive. This guy is a really special guy. He's got a special right now on Netflix called Big Boy that he did right before the quarantino happened. He's got so many great podcasts. He's got the Bertcast. He's got the Tom Segura podcast, Two Bears in One Cave. And he's got the Bill Burr cast with Bill Burr. I don't know how they came up with the name. Joe Rogan's a good friend of his. He's been so amazing on that show. He's got his TV show, The Cabin, on Netflix. Many television shows that he's done. He's going to be touring again as soon as we're all able to, and he's just going to bring a lot of people a lot of happiness. And he doesn't need to wear a shirt because he's that good a guy. You feel like your best friend when you talk to him. Please welcome Bert Kreischer. So Bert, you're unbelievable. I'm really happy to see you. You've got that. Is that the man cave? Is that the original?
This is the man cave. I think if I back up, you can see that the lighting gets weird when I get closer. I got my for my Netflix special. I got my Letterman is right there, right by my treadmill. My treadmill's next level, by the way.
What is it? Is it the one that does it suck you off? Does it have a thing?
No, it's a Woodway. This treadmill I bought on my birthday last year, right before pandemic, and I spent a lot of money on it, and I've run 1,000 miles on it this year.
All at once?
Nope.
So you're just kind of doing a cross-country thing in 3 segments.
Yeah. It's like when you can't afford to fly private, but you fly private anyway across country, and you have to stop 7 times.
So what would be stupid is to connect to other private jets. That would be just really dumb.
We did that for Travel Channel. They're like, we're flying you private from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine. And I was like, sweet. And it was the smallest plane. You had to sit like this.
Right.
And we had to stop 7 fucking times.
Was that a Learjet or was that just,
I have no idea.
At that point, it's not private. Did it have a propeller?
I don't think so.
Did they catapult it?
No, but it was not. There was thunderstorms. We bounced everywhere. I drank a full bottle of Jameson by myself on that flight.
I can't do Jameson. I'm 64. It just burns through me, and then it like drips out.
So wait, you're 64?
Yeah, I don't look it. I have the
not look it at all. I was thinking about you yesterday. I'm driving over the hill, right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were in the bathroom. I would think you would take it to shit, but sorry.
I'm driving over the hill. I'm coming back from my cardiologist appointment, and I thought, be the like I don't want to be the comic that just dies young, right? Like,
no, you can't.
But I'm on that path. I'm on that path, definitely. Like with partying and going on the road and pushing it hard on the road.
But you slowed down on. I mean, I know everything you're doing. I mean, I know what you do with your wife at night. I'm just outside your house. I haven't seen any of your work, but you're still partying to that level.
Yeah, we just got off. We did a 23-day run running right up to January 30th. I want to say. Or to November 30th, and we ended in San Diego. And our last 3 days in San Diego, we got rid of the tour bus and we stayed in a place on the beach. And I had a night where I thought that they were out of my system, where the beers are drinking you, and you're going one after another, and smoked a cigar in a hot tub. Woke up really fucking hungover, and I was like,
"Well, the cigar in a hot tub. That's how I chill. That's what I've done. I mean, that always calms me down.
I'm a cigar guy. I'm definitely a cigar guy lately. But
right.
The booze is like, for me, I was just killing IPAs, and then we had a bottle of wine at dinner. It was just like, and I'm driving over the hill going, I don't want to be that guy, but I don't know how to be the guy like Dimitri Martin, who doesn't do anything, or
no, he's such a sweetheart.
They're great guys. Daniel Tosh, Dane Cook, Dimitri Martin. They all never did anything. They never really partied at all. And I was like, I don't want to be that guy. I can't be that guy. I'm never going to be that guy. And I literally thought, Bob Saget seems to be healthy. I bet he has a cardiologist. I bet
my GP is a cardiologist, and
really?
That helps me. I mean, I'm hoping to get the vaccine. I'm going to inject it right into my penis, because I think that would be the first thing that gets COVID. I'm going to give you COVID. No, I'm married, and I don't cheat because I watched that show on Showtime, The Affair. That's how things have gotten so slow. I've watched every single thing. I'm now on The Affair, which is 4 or 5 years old, and my wife likes it because it's kind of a soap opera, and it's got nudity and a lot of sex in it, and it just I don't want to see a bunch of cocks. I just don't, and that's just the women. So no, I can't say that. I can't say anything. You have balls that I still have. When I'm in front of people, I think I say to the promoter, if I do a special, I say to the producer, this is going to be the cleanest set I ever did. And then I get off stage, getting ready to do the second show, and the promoter or the producer goes, that was a clean set? That was clean? I can't help it.
I've done that so many times. I had a promoter. I did a college conference to try to get bookings, and the guy looks at me and he goes, no dirty stuff. And I was like, no, I understand that. And he goes, no, but no innuendos either. And I was like, in my head, I was like, innuendos? I was like, do I have any you're like racing to go, do I have innuendos in my act? I don't have any innuendo, right?
Well, I wrote that in a book called Dirty Daddy, where no matter what I do, even if I talk about death and stuff, I can't help it. Innuendo is an innuendo. I'm going to put it innuendo. You're going to like when I put it in. It's like Chico Marx. Innuendo. You're going to like it. You know, that kind of thing. Because he was a womanizer, supposedly.
So I host the thing. I do my act. I do 10 minutes, right? And then I'm hosting. So I bring up the first act. And I'm like, in my head, I'm overthinking it. And I was like, I didn't have any innuendos in that, right? I didn't have any innuendos. And then I look at the first act I bring up. He's a sword-swallowing juggler. He's juggling balls with a sword down his throat.
Right.
And I get on stage and I go, he couldn't have done that on his knees. And the guy in charge goes, I said no fucking innuendos.
That's past innuendo. That's just, I mean, he's a sword-swallowing ball juggler.
He's a sword-swallowing ball juggler.
I mean, the only thing he needs is some liquid shooting him in the face, and it's the trifecta. And then that's an act I want to see.
Yeah. No, you know what? I haven't really gotten, knock on wood, but I haven't gotten in trouble for what I've said, and I've said some pretty horrific things.
I've watched your most recent special too, Big Boy, and you do what I'd like to do, which is, and you're doing it in volumes now. You're really quite prolific, and it's just jokes and it's setups, and you're coming out of the gate, and you know, a dick on a shoulder. It doesn't, you know, that's like, it's odd, so it's funny.
I think I get a pass. People think because I'm married and I'm doing it all to my family, and I'm like a family. Like I'm
and
just
yourself,
like,
right?
Yeah, a little bit. But I had a joke in this last special. I had a joke about going to Starbucks and ordering coffee from this black dude that was right before everyone got woke about like racial politics, and like right before the George Floyd and everyone got super sensitive to what they're saying. My special came out in March. And it did really well, and everyone loved it. And then all of a sudden, everything blew up. And I was just like, all right, no one bring up that joke. Like, just going like, I just got in right at the buzzer. It's like Ben Roethlisberger with all the Me Too shit. He was like, oh, I did all my raping back in the 90s. I'm good. Allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly. But
I have a fake site of a 16-year-old girl, and I tweet calling myself out. Because I want to destroy myself, but I didn't do anything that I can recall. So, you know, I had to make a fake Twitter site. That would be if someone was really just wanting to commit social suicide.
Oh, I wish I had a burner account so bad. I would love to have a burner account.
I thought about quitting Twitter at one point, and then I realized, no.
I'll tell you what I did. This is what I did. I hired a guy. Shout out to Chase Leopard. I hired him, and I said, hey, man, he does more than this, but one of the things he does that I love is he goes through Twitter and kind of weeds out the stuff that I don't need to see, and then just sends me stuff that's like funny, retweetable, like when people are being hilarious, like he's really got his finger on that button, or if there's something like that's memeable that day, he sends it to me, and then I comment on it and post on it, and it's gotten me off Twitter. I look at Twitter the same way I look at a scale when I step on a scale. I like kind of go, barely look at it and they go, I don't want to see that shit. I was in a good mood. Why the fuck do I need to see that number? And I
only step on a scale when I know I've lost weight. You know, if you know you've gained weight, there's just no, what are you doing? You know, oh my God, that's even worse than I thought. And then
ruins your day.
Then you go have a drink and order ribs. So I got to talk to you because we know a lot of the same people, but we've never hung out. And I mean, you know, and Bill Burr says I'm only friends with him now because he got more famous and stuff. But I was there when he did the Philly. You know, we talked about this on the Bill Burr podcast. I was there when he did that show, that definable thing. The things that you think take you down are the things like your big machine. You know. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Is it the big machine?
The machine.
The machine. I don't know. No, it's the big boy. I get things. See, this
machine,
is where you see my age.
Yeah.
And also that's why I manscape, because otherwise you'd see the gray pubes. For a while I would just go, she loves me not, and just rip them out. But that got bloody. You don't talk. See, you don't go graphic bloody in your comedy, do you?
I used to. I worked for Travel Channel.
Right.
For like 9 years. And what happened was, and it was good and it was bad, is it was right when I started doing Rogan, and there was like probably 4 appearances on Rogan where I was like absolutely reckless, smoking weed, in front of camera. And then one of my execs was really cool. And he was like, hey man, you can't be smoking weed on camera like that. And he was like, and you just got to be mindful of like what you're saying, because you do have a morality clause. So in a weird way, I kind of got edited, but I didn't get edited. I learned how to be a tad bit mindful in a time where we were being completely and totally reckless, like
right.
really reckless. And so I
was this from doing the television? Was that what turned you?
Yeah, is that I knew that the execs at Travel Channel were fans of Rogan, and so they were watching. And so in a weird way, and this is at that transition, and I always say some comics, you go from like being young and you want to be the edgiest guy in the room to like get your peers to respect you, respect the balls that you'll take chances. And then at a certain point, you've got to find your voice. And if your voice isn't that, you need to be brave enough to step away from that. And my thing was, I was obsessed with like anything racial. I thought was really ballsy. Anything like I wanted people to be like, oh, like anything. I remember coming off stage. I was like, oh, I got a rape joke, and Matt Fultron was like, cool. I go, no, it works really good. And he goes, yeah, except for that one girl that got straight up raped and you just ruined her night. And I went,
right.
Oh, I never thought about it that way.
I went through that. My stand-up, when I was at the Comedy Store at 21 years old, I was off the walls, and I would say anything to be obscene to anybody, and like Jay Leno did a bit about it. Hey, what is it with incest? And that was the setup in Jay's voice. It's funny because you wouldn't hear that on the Tonight Show. And he would say, what is that? Your mom's taking a meatloaf out of the oven, bending over, and you go, all right, mom. And I said, I really like that joke. He said, of course you do. You're a sick fuck, And so I always was. And then I got commercial television. And I did it because I wanted to do it. I liked acting. But so I went family for a while, and then I loved that. But then I would go and do stand-up, and people didn't know what the fuck was going on. Yeah. And I was still trying to find my voice. And I think now with the new hour that I'll eventually get to do on a special, hopefully by the end of this year, because I'm not doing a pandemic special. I'm not doing one of those where everybody's distanced, and I just not doing it. No, but that will be for me probably the most evolved I've been, where I have racial stuff because I was racially profiled in Norfolk, Virginia, as a Jew, and blacks were profiled, and it was bad. And you were partying. You're so much younger. You were in Florida, and you were. I can't imagine anybody truly being offended by you because you have this unusual combination of partying, but you have a joyousness and you do have an intellect. So you're a weird combo platter.
Well, I wasn't, I gotta honestly tip my hat to Rogan because at the time when I was doing those Rogan show, I was all over the map stand-up wise. And I remember Rogan was like, you need to tell the machine on story. That is your story. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to tell it on stage. He legit forced my hand to tell it because
I just watched it. I just watched the animated version. Was that South Park's animators?
No, no, it wasn't.
It looked so much like them. Wow.
I know, right? Yeah, that was the first version of it, and it was like it got 3 million views, and I was like,
hell yeah.
I was so excited. But I started telling after I told the machine, which is a 13-minute story that I had to tell for like 4 years before it was good. I then got the courage that was the courage I was looking for this whole time. Not to be the ballsiest dude in the room, not to say the most aggressive thing, but to find a subject that I found funny and then take the time with it and bomb with it and let it get good. That was my balls. And I think, and now it's like, and now I think I've leaned too much into that. Sometimes I feel like my stand-up specials are like story, beginning, middle, and end. Story, beginning, middle, and end. Like I'm.
But I like it because we need storytellers, and you've got jokes. There's some people tell stories, but there's no joke in there. But you have a joy. Fuck, your shirt comes off at the beginning. So tell me the first time. Everybody asks the same question, but I know the first time was when you were born. But after that, when did the shirt come off on stage? Was it pretty much in Boston when you started?
No.
You were in Florida doing stand-up.
I started in my first stand-up special. My first stand-up ever was at Potbelly's in Tallahassee. I did 30 minutes behind because I was written up in Rolling Stone magazine as the #1 party animal in the country. Some radio station put,
and then the Van Wilder based on you, and you didn't sue.
Allegedly. I always stay out of that because I don't want to be the guy that like one day they're coming after me going, what the, like, but yeah, we didn't sue. Barry Katz, shout out to Barry Katz, is like, Papa, there's two people in this business, the people that work and the people that sue. Pick which one you want to be. It was the greatest advice I ever got because I'm very happy with where I am today. But I did stand up in Tallahassee and then moved straight to New York and worked at a club called the Boston Comedy Club.
Of course.
And I didn't do it there. But
I thought you were in Boston. Holy shit.
I know that's once again, shout out to Barry Katz, who names a club the Boston Comedy Club in New York City.
Because he loved Boston?
Yeah, because he loved Boston.
Oh, yeah. Man. Yeah. It's like Boston pizza. Original Ray's Boston pizza.
So, but I was very much myself then. Like, I wore flip-flops on stage. I didn't care. I didn't have like rules in my head. And then I moved to LA and all the rules got implemented. Then I get on the road and I realized there's no one's watching. So you can do whatever you want. I used to rip my shirt off, kill a beer, and then have music playing, then put my shirt on, start the show. And then one night in Columbus, I ripped my shirt off, killed a beer because it would make me giggle. I would remember, don't be depressed that it's an early Friday show and you have 4 more shows, and you're not going to see your family till Monday. Remember that you're supposed to be in the moment having fun. So I ripped my shirt off in Columbus. I put it on the mic stand. I killed a beer. And then something happened in the room, very organic, and I got distracted. And then 15 minutes later, I'm talking about it, and I remember, oh, shit, my shirt's off. And I was like, I went to go put it on, and this lady in the back just goes, keep it off. And I was like, all right.
That's hilarious because it's not like take it off. It's like keep it off.
Keep it off.
Have you ever gone full nude? Have you done that?
I haven't. I totally would. And one of those, they do those shows in New York. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Have you been nude, pardon me for not knowing, on any of the shows you've done?
Yes.
The television shows?
Oh, yeah. Aggressively.
So you're blurred naked, like the one in the woods, what the hell's the name of it? The cabin. Are you naked in that thing a lot?
Aggressively, yeah.
So are you balls out and they blur your dick and everything?
Nope. Small dick and everything.
Oh, they can't show a small dick. Oh, it's Netflix. I can.
Yeah, they can. They showed a small dick and everything.
Did you have a small dick put on your giant dick? Was it CGI? Yeah. You actually have a giant one, right?
We had to cram a big dick into a little dick package.
It's so hard to do that.
Me and Dr. Ken are the only ones that have done it.
I've done it. I did it with rubber bands, and I did it the old-fashioned way in a little paper mache, and I smashed it down to a more manageable size for people.
I was so worried about it too because it was like, people are going to see my dick. That's all they're going to talk about. Like, all anyone's going to be is like, oh my God, this was funny until I saw his dick, and then no one talked about it.
Oh my God, that's the worst thing in the world.
No one.
If you take your dick out on television and no one talks about it.
No one. I mean, you see my butthole, you see my dick, my balls.
Well, you don't see your butthole. You don't like open it up, do you? You don't
see my butthole. Nikki Glaser waxed my asshole. Yeah.
I miss all the good stuff. I love Nikki, but she waxed your asshole?
Yeah, she waxed my asshole.
I feel like I've missed a couple good decades. But I have plenty. I have plenty of shit, but it was mostly drug oriented back in my early starting. But I was at the Comedy Store for like 8 years doing the road. You were at the store also, right? You came in with Joe Rogan and that whole movement, right? The whole
No. I was actually,
you weren't part of the rebirth.
No, I was part of the rebirth ish. In that, I was like an improv guy, road guy, mostly Irvine. I worked with you one weekend in Irvine. Me and Ian Bagg worked with you in
right.
Irvine.
I remember that, and we liked each other.
Yeah, I remember you. There was a comedian that had just gotten an assistant, and your eyes glassed over. You were like, huh? And I was like, oh yeah, he's got an assistant. And you were like, why does he have an assistant? And I go, I don't know, he got an assistant. And you go, I don't have an assistant. Wait, how come he's got an assistant? I remember we were laughing so hard. And then me, you and Ian Bagg worked together one weekend. So I was always Brea Irvine.
Yeah, I'm doing them coming up. I mean, I'm planning to do them because I'm not going. First thing, you can't go into theaters this year. No. You know, I've got a couple near the end. I'm able, but I can't. I mean, I did Dave Chappelle's comedy camp. I went in and did that once, and that was a dream, right? But I still didn't have my sea legs, and so I want to sea legs. Who the fuck says that? I'm not on a boat, but But to be able to go out and do it, I got to do clubs. I got to just go and work out an hour and a half every show. And then my buddy Mike Young will go on if he'll go with me. I love Mike. I know he was just on the Bill Burr.
I love Mike.
He is a brother. If you need a guy to be your friend and you love him, he is so loyal. He would do anything. I got a problem. One of my kids met a guy. He goes, I know a guy that knows a guy. It's taken care of. Did
I ever tell you? Did you ever hear the story I told? The story that about.
I don't think I should have said that, but I'm leaving it in.
Oh, well, then get ready to edit this one out. This is a great Mike Young story. So I'm on a flight from New York to LA, right? I'm sitting next to a beautiful woman, got like henna all down her arm, beads on her chest. Gorgeous woman. I'm at the time probably 32. She's maybe 40, 42. And we're talking, we're hanging out, we're having drinks, we're in first class, right? I get upgraded, we're having drinks, we're giggling. And then she says, what are you doing after this flight? And I said, I'm going home. She goes, how about don't go home? And I went, oh, I'm married. And she went, damn it. And I went, really? She went, yeah. She goes, got out of a bad relationship and I haven't been laid. And I just went to Nepal to go, to try to get some spiritual grounding. And I need to get fucked. And I went, okay. I said, do you trust me? She goes, I do. And I said, can I set you up with my friend Mike Young? She goes, sure. So I send a 3-way text. Mike, this is whatever her name is. She is looking to get laid. No strings attached.
Pictures? Did they exchange photos on your triple text?
I showed her a picture of Mike, and I said, Mike, dude. I texted Mike privately. I go, trust me, you're in. And so he replies in. He's like, why don't you come meet me at this bar? We'll have a drink. And then Bob, she goes to the bar. Mike has one tequila, and she looks at him. She goes, you ready to leave? She didn't even have a drink. And he goes, yeah. They go up to her house. Mike texts me the next day, you are a fucking god. My favorite Mike Young story, without a doubt. I was like, hold on, don't text me. Call me and walk me through the details. I need to know everything. Oh.
He is. Well, first thing, kudos to you for not cheating on your wife, because you know what this business does.
Yeah.
And it's COVID, so you're cock blocked. There's nothing you can do.
This was a while ago. Just taking care of Mike. This was a while ago.
No, I get it. That means you didn't. Yeah. You didn't cheat. I've been a bad boy in my life years and years and years ago, and I don't like it. I can't hold that many lies. I can't. We don't have to get into this because I don't want to say it. I have a woman here from Poughkeepsie. Bert, where have you been? This is your baby. It's just, he is, and the road when you're with a friend, when you tour with a friend. Now he is just a dear friend, so he can't wait to get up and get out with me. And his special that All Things Comedy has put out, which is your thing and Bill's thing. God, I love Bill Burr.
He is the best. He is the best.
He is one of the best people on the earth, I think.
And he's such an interesting person. I one day he texts me and he's like, let's go to an XFL game. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I said, what do you want? You want to pick me up? And he goes, just come over to my house and I'll drive. And I was like, all right. I go, what's your address? And he goes, text me his address. So I Google it. Right. I put in the map and then I send it over to Zillow. I'm like, how much did Bill pay for his house? Right. So I type it in. I'm a little surprised. I'm like, that's interesting. He actually told me what he paid and that's not the price. That's odd. Why would Bill lie to me? Like that's like, I'm trying to figure out why would he be, he doesn't care to impress anybody. Whatever. No. Doesn't matter. So I go to his house, I knock on the door, and as I'm knock on the door, across the street, 2 doors up, I hear Bill, over here, asshole. I go, what are you doing over there? And he goes, I'm not giving you my real address. You'll put it in fucking Zillow.
He's so fucking awesome. He came over here and we smoked cigars during quarantine, socially distant. And then you find out later that it's a cigar smoke that actually carries it the most. If you smell cigarette smoke, you're getting COVID from the COVID carrier. But we were just talking about life. And I said, I got so much when this is over and I'm allowed to perform and I'm allowed to film stuff because I'm writing a film right now that probably looks very good that it's going to get. I got a producer, got the studio's approved and all that shit. And I said, I haven't even come here on this planet to do what I've come here to do. And he looked at me and he went, well, you better fucking hurry up. Just smoking a cigar. I'm 64. I've got like 10 days to live in his eyes. But he's not wrong. He's a real seize the day kind of guy.
I haven't been boozing. I've had a day like New Year's Eve partied. But I haven't been boozing since we got off tour in November.
That makes me happy to hear.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? I got to be real honest I went to, like I said, I was thinking about you driving back from the cardiologist, and I got a clean bill of health from the cardiologist. Good CT scan, 0% calcium buildup in my heart.
You take Lipitor or anything?
I take my cholesterol's good. It's within the levels. My liver's good. It's within the levels. Like everything's good. And so I'm on blood pressure medicine, but my blood pressure as I've lost weight has been dropping. And so now I'm taking it. Now I'm told to take it in the morning before I take my blood pressure medicine to see what it is off blood pressure medicine. And if it's really low, to stay off of it. So for the day. And then, so I'm kind of now I'm like a little bit regulating, but,
and the treadmill, your $90,000 treadmill has been, does someone talk to you? Is it a movie screen of some kind?
No, it's just, you know what it is? It's an industrial treadmill. So there's never a problem with it. It has a
forklift attached to it?
No, it means that it's meant to be in a gym where fat people run on it. And so just one fat person running on it, this thing is so fucking great. It's like, you know what? It's dependable. I had a treadmill before where you're like, oh, the belt's slipping.
Yeah.
And you had to tighten the belt. This has treads on it. So it's like, it looks like a tractor tire.
Got it.
Spins, and it is. And I'm telling you, it's the best. I bought it before COVID, and I've had it this whole year and ran 1,000 miles on it.
It's a lifesaver. That's a lifesaver for you. Is it on the second floor or the first floor?
First floor. Everything's
it's got to be.
Yeah.
Because if you're when you started, you would have gone right through to the basement at that point. You would have
257 pounds when I started losing weight.
Wow. Do you want to say where you are now?
Right now I'm at 240, which is pretty good, but not like impressive. But I think, it's when I get on the road, especially we were touring driving movie theaters, and you get in the bus, and that was our bubble. We were very, very, very cognizant to not burst our bubble, to get in there. We all COVID test, then jump right on the bus. And then stay on the bus. Only stay at RV parks. Stay outside, outside cities. Barely, no contact with anybody.
Who was with you on this?
Me, Dave Williamson, Shane Torres, Jesus Trejo, Steve Fury, my bus driver Ron, my cousin Andrew, my cameraman John Mans, and my tour manager Parfait.
That's a large crew. That's a lot of people.
9 dudes living on a bus. And we would go for runs where you had to start in California, right? And then we drive straight across country and hit North Carolina, and then work our way back across the country until we're back in LA. And then the last 4 days, we would go and get a beach house or a lake house, and we would stay there and quarantine ourselves there for 4 days so that we could then show up into LA and then be with our family, get tested when we get to LA, quarantine, get tested. And then everyone was out. And we did, I don't need to knock on wood. We did 4 tours this COVID summer.
Yeah.
We did 4 tours. No one got COVID. No one even got sick.
Congratulations. That's because you practiced it properly. You did it safely. But it was drive-ins, right?
Drive-ins. And I got to tell you, man, people have mixed reviews, comics on drive-ins. I had a fucking blast.
I'm doing one, and you're my inspiration. I'm doing one, and it's basically, I think, 5 days from now, from when this thing is on. The Irvine one at the Spectrum Center.
Great.
The Speculum Center. It's in Innuendos office, and I want to do it. I hope they allow me. I mean, I don't know what California is subjective, but it's really good for you that you did that. People were so appreciative, right? It
was the first day we did one, because we did them. I came up with the idea March 17th. March 17th, my special Hey Big Boy dropped on Netflix, and I was like,
really funny, by the way, really funny.
Thank you. I was like, I'm not going to sit on my hands and not tour not tour after a special,
right?
Like in my head, and it wasn't about money. It was just about like I'd been, I knew we were going to be home. I was like, listen, I called my agent. I said, when this loosens up, like get me into drive-in movie theaters, and he's like, it's not a thing. And I said, let's make it a thing. Find someone who can do it.
Were you the first person that started them?
That's a weird thing, but as comic, I think, yeah. I mean, I think I was definitely the first comic doing them, only because I was willing to try. I'm not saying that there was no talent involved in that. I was just willing to put myself out there and go, we'll see if these work or not. And
well, it's like a stadium show. It's like a state fair type of idea. And I've done a lot of those. I mean, I played in Ottawa. I had 30,000 people at a music festival, and Snoop went on and did an hour after me, and I loved it because I don't have to hear the laughs. I see their faces because you can't hear them anyway.
Yeah.
But I see them, and I see they're laughing. It just doesn't travel, and I'm listening to my voice, but I'm having a fuckload of fun, and I can do as long as I can do a long set. I don't think I'm bombing. But I know when I am, when someone doesn't work yet, you know.
Yeah, no, it was that first one we did in North Carolina. We found an electric, the people who put on electric dance music concerts.
Right.
They do that. That's what they do. Their name is Hotbox. It's a great company, and they said we can do a drive-in. We got a drive-in for you. We can get a camera. We'll get them. We'll do a 4-camera shoot that'll shoot you on stage, put you on the big screen.
Right.
All the audio streams seamlessly into the cars, and it seemed great. So we did it.
How many people? How many cars? How many people?
The first one we did was a little aggressive. I think that here's a little sidebar that you need to know about drive-ins is a lot of these are drive-in twin cinemas. So what they'll do is they have 2 screens, one facing this way and one facing this way, and they'll set cars just facing the screen that can't see the stage at all. So you'll have like 800 cars in there, and there'll be 400 facing this way, 400 can't even see you on stage. They're just watching the screen.
Can you walk around to say hi to them?
No, COVID. You got to stay out. What we would do is do meet and greets in the back of a golf cart. I would stand in the back of a golf cart, and we would, while they were exiting in traffic, I would wave and say hi to everyone. They get pictures. It was great. But that first one we did in North Carolina was probably like 600 cars, 800 cars around there, twin cinema, and the sunset. And I watched everyone was out of their cars in their own little pod areas. They all were cooking out and having beers and sitting in recliners, playing cornhole, throwing a football. One dude had the back of his truck filled with water. And I went, this is how I've done everything with my career. I always go, I would like that. Like as a fan, I would like that.
But that's how you become people's friend. That's why, I mean, I didn't jump on the podcast wagon because you guys are kicking ass. You have 9 podcasts on,
Yeah.
And Tom Segura is wonderful. I mean,
amazing.
He's so, and it's a very small group in this group of yours, really, of that. People go, who do you like coming up? Well, you're not coming up, you're there. And so is Tom, he's there, but it's that in between me and the new people that are coming up that are on new TV shows and stuff that, wow, where'd that person come from? But it's really consequential that when they see you, they're seeing their friend. That's why the shirt comes off, because they're already in the backyard at a beer drinking party at the barbecue with their funniest fucking friend they have.
Yeah, I honestly, that's like the biggest compliment I can get paid, because I'm never going to be Mitch Hedberg or Richard Pryor.
You could if you did heroin.
Yeah, maybe. Or coke on both sides.
If you do a lot of coke, a lot of heroin, and shit your pants, you'll be right up there with Mitch. God bless him, by the way. I mean, I'm talking about a brilliant guy. So I mean, I'm doing it, and he would. I'd find a way to make him laugh at it if he was alive.
Yeah.
On that note, since it's such an up note, let's take a quick break. I hope it's from a funeral director. All right, everybody, I'm going to talk to you about something that means a lot to me, and it's sleep. Sleep is something that I do when I'm not talking. Sometimes I talk in my sleep, so, okay, I'm a full-time talker. But sleep is something I always had a problem with. My neck would go out. I'd sleep on a bad mattress. I know some of you are sleeping on some saggy old mattress. You don't want to sleep on a Bob saggy old mattress. You want to sleep on something better. You deserve something better than that. So give yourself an upgrade. I did this for my daughter. I got her a mattress from Helix Sleep. And let me tell you something, I'm not kidding. It changed her life and made her life better. Helix Sleep has a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete. I did it with my daughter online, and it matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why would you buy a mattress made for somebody else? I mean, you don't want to do that unless they're sleeping over and you care more about their sleep than yours. With Helix, you're getting a mattress that you know will be perfect for the way that you sleep. Everybody's unique, and Helix knows that, so they have several different mattress models to choose from. They have soft, medium, and firm mattresses. Mattresses great for cooling you down if you sleep hot, and even a Helix Plus mattress for plus-size folks. I took the Helix quiz with my daughter, as I was telling you, and I was matched with the perfect mattress for her because she wanted someone that felt medium, and she sleeps on her side sometimes and her back other times, and she doesn't really move around at night, but some people do. And the Helix mattress, when you take the quiz, it literally will match you up with something that is perfect for you. She absolutely loves it. It's better than any other mattress she ever had, and that's why I support it. It's been awesome getting unboxing videos from so many of you who also found the Helix mattress of your dreams. So if you're looking for a mattress, you take the quiz, you order the mattress that you're matched to, and the mattress comes right to your door shipped for free. You don't ever need to go to a mattress store again. Helix is awesome, but you don't need to take my word for it. Helix was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 and by GQ and Wired magazine. Just go to helixsleep.com/Bob, B-O-B, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. And right now, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/Bob. That's helixsleep.com/Bob. You'll sleep better. I'm telling you, you will. Just go to helixsleep.com/Bob. We're back, and that was some break. So this is my last episode from this environment. I've been in just a white wall in my study. It's real nice around me, but I don't want people to see my life, you know. But you got a man cave going, and I got an office that I've been tricking out using for all kinds of TV appearances. So all I have here is this picture of Red Fox and Rodney Dangerfield right there.
Wait, when you did the podcast with me and Bill, were you in your office?
I was in my office. So that's going to be the background after this episode for my podcast, because I did the podcast.
Can you hear the trash truck in my backyard?
Yeah.
That's how you know I'm new money.
No, but my office, there will on a Friday, if I'm recording, there's a leaf blower that will come right up to the office.
I had when we were doing podcasts out of the man cave, I had my every Wednesday every Tuesday I would book a podcast because I was home and all comics were home. And we would post it. We would do it at like 11 when every comic is comfortable waking up, but it's still early enough to have a day. And our fucking maintenance man, our yard guy, would come every day because he knew we were on podcasts, and he would bring goods and go, "Hey, I'm selling this on eBay if anyone wants it." And you'd be like, "What the fuck?"
I know. My leaf blowing guy has a podcast. I mean, it's, how to blow leaves. It's a whole thing. It's very hard to get a big wad of leaves in your mouth.
How to blow leaves.
I don't know. I got nothing. But the thing is, I didn't start this podcast because of the world that Joe Rogan, that Bill, that you've created, that Mark Maron. I did it because I'd been out touring and watched a lot of dissension in the audience and heard people yelling at each other if I was in the South, and they were arguing, and I'm there to entertain them, and I'm there to give them a show that makes them happy, and brings them all together in a room and puts them in their life, and, fuck it, not to start a war in a goddamn theater. And I ended up before COVID, I mean, I started to want to do it in 2019, and then started in I guess February, did 2 episodes in a studio at Studio 71, and then went, I got to go home. They brought the board home. I got it here. And this is it's kind of a good way to do it. I mean,
oh, it's so much easier. Like in all honesty, we would have never been able to link up, me, you, Bill, to do a podcast. It was just all our schedules for someone to drive way into the valley to where me and Bill were. Bill and my podcast would not still be going on if it wasn't for COVID, because it was just easy. And by the way, I think for the future, Bill and I will probably stay this way with Zooms, because I'll say that I know I listen better, and I can tell you right now, Bill Burr listens better.
I agree. I'm much more into it because it's all we have right now. It's you and me, and my wife just left town. I'm desperate for company. I'm desperate to, it's really nice to talk to somebody, and we've never really had a conversation. So this is almost like we were together drinking beers, but we're not drinking and we're not together. So it's nothing like that. But were you just like this when you were like a teenager? Were you just this guy, this fun guy that everybody had around, or were you quiet and were you both? I was both.
No, I think I was loud, but I think I was more serious. I think I was really into like baseball. Like I was planning to go play in college, and I was very like I was still funny and fun, but you'd have to draw it out of me, and it was I was playful and fun, and I liked to have a good time, and I was definitely a screw off. I think anyone that knew me in high school was like, hold on, Bert, this isn't the right guy. But my personality really developed in college. When I went to college and I kind of walked away from sports and was like, what do I think I just want to party. Like, I remember actually saying that to myself. Like, I went to play at Florida State. I walked on the field. I didn't walk on the team, but I walked on the field to the first practice and took some cuts, took some pitches, threw down to second. And Coach Martin was like, okay. He was like, I don't know what I can do with you. My son's a catcher. We've got a lot of catchers, but, we can always use a bullpen catcher. And I was like, okay. He's like, so go down and catch 90 pitches from everyone, and then we'll talk to you at the end of the day. And I was like, great. So I walked down with my bag, and I just walked out of left field. I walked right off left. I didn't stop. I walked back to the dorms to Sally Hall. I walked into my room, and Paul Pizzo, Chili Willie, Chandler Perry were all doing this thing we used to call time traveling, where we'd murder out all the windows. We'd poke holes where the lights were, so it looked like stars. And we get high, and we'd lay on the ground and listen to Pink Floyd and just time travel, and just getting high as fuck and in the dark.
Right.
And I was still in my baseball uniform, and they were doing it, and I sat down, I got high, and I laid in my baseball uniform, and I realized I will never play sports again. And I have a hard time getting competitive now, because it draws back a serious side of me where I go, I'm not going to get too competitive. I want everything to be fun. And I started being funny, like in my fraternity. I know that's a horrible thing to say, and the way people view white men these days, but in my fraternity, people started going like, you should be a comedian. Like, you're funny. You should do stand-up. And then I had a buddy who went pro, and I remember everyone growing up was like, oh, he's going to play professional baseball. Like, everyone, since we were kids, he'll play professional baseball. And I remember saying to my dad, how come no one says that about me? And he was like, because you don't have that thing. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I don't know. When Brad touches a baseball, there's something magic where you go, he was meant to touch like he was meant to do this. And when I first did stand-up, I called my dad. I go, I found my thing that Brad Radke had. I found it. It's stand-up. And he immediately, it was like a language my dad and I spoke, and he was like, where he understood what I meant. And he was like, then you got to move to New York.
I love your dad.
Yeah.
My parents were like that also. They were really supportive. They were just like, my mom had a little bit of a Jesus complex with me. I mean, she actually tried to crucify me one night, but I was asleep, laying down. But she just went, you can do anything, Bobby. And then
was she really like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You need someone in your life like that. I had a girlfriend like that I always say wasn't that intelligent. In meaning that she was like, she was the kind of person that was like, it was like, well, if you want to be a runway model, just try it. Like really like almost like.
But she's not wrong.
I know, but there are limitations on people.
Yeah.
And she did not see limitations for anyone. And it was like, it was in the most blissful way you could ever live your life. She was like, you could actually be one of the greatest comedians ever. And I was like, for real? And my girlfriend before that.
Well, she was right.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess, man, I don't know about greatest, but she's
well,
like,
I mean, you're a young man yet, and you got a treadmill. So
if she had said, you'll be respected by your peers and people will like you, but no one's ever write an article about you. Promise you that. I'd be like, okay, you're gonna make an okay living.
there was no negative out of this naive, positive girl.
She was awesome, man. She was great for that time because she was like, you can totally do it. Go to New York. And then you'd go to New York and you'd watch comics and she'd be like, you're funnier than that guy. And you're like, and you need to hear that a little bit in that corner to be able to get on, to even get on stage. You go, I want to share the stage with these types of people, you know? See,
I was shocked into it that from the very beginning, because I was a guitar act, I did original songs. I saw Martin.
Me too.
You did?
But that's how I started in Tallahassee, is I would play songs and do impressions of artists singing other people's songs. And it murdered. And when I did stand up the first time, I didn't play a guitar. And I thought, when I get to New York, I'm bringing out that fucking guitar, and right. I will be the next Adam Sandler. And I brought my guitar. The first time on stage, I didn't. And the next time on stage, I brought my guitar. I put it off on the side of the fireplace at the Boston Comedy Club. And the whole time I tried doing stand up, all anyone did was look at that guitar. They just stared at the guitar.
Yeah, I have it hidden. They know I'm going to play it because I've done it in all my specials and they've seen my stand-up. But
yeah,
I had to take the guitar away, and that's what Mitzi Shore helped me with a little bit. Was she had me hosting a lot, and you can't play guitar songs if you're hosting. So I had to take it off, and it was really hard. And then I would end up I would do like 3-hour shows. I didn't know what I would just go on the road and tour. And there were a few comedians, Rick Overton and Rich Scheidner, and we would compete. I did 3:45, and it's like that whole Dane Cook, Dave Chappelle rivalry of Guinness Book of World Records.
I remember when that was going down. I think Rick Overton, I'm going to look at it. I think he went to Florida State.
He's a smart guy and a nice guy.
He was, I will be very candid, he was not very nice to me when I met him.
No, he's a prick. No, I'm just no, I'm joking.
I swear.
Why wasn't he nice? What happened?
I was young. It was, it's back when you're young. No, he didn't go. Who went to Florida State?
He might have. The thing about Rick was he had the attention span was short. It probably had nothing to do with you, Bert. It probably just had to do with no. He would be like, oh, good to see you. He was a friend of Robin's, and it was a quick way of thinking and get right to the point. And maybe I don't know.
It was when I was young, and I it's like you don't know anyone, and so you're going up to people like, hey, what do you want me to say about you before I bring you up? And I think maybe I'd done it to like 3 people that all I should have known, and Rick was the last one. And I think maybe everyone was just tired of this young kid going like, do you have any credits? And Rick was like, do I have any credits? And I was like, yeah, have you been on anything? Like, can I mention anything? Maybe
that's the wrong way.
Yeah, and Rick was like, yeah, and so I don't put it off on him. But I kept thinking he went to Florida State, but it wasn't him. It was another guy that was like that age that went to Florida State, and I always wanted to go, hey, we should be friends. I went to Florida State too, but it never happened.
But that's the weird part is I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and I did, but then I moved a lot, and so stand up for me was like. I got accepted. I didn't like the competition of it. Like I could have been on Star Search. They kept asking me. I lived in a single apartment in Palms, but I didn't want to be in a competition. I just didn't believe in it. And so I just started headlining because I was half stand-up, half music, and it kind of stayed that way. And then I write songs that are good comedy songs, I mean, people that I look up to, like Martin Mull is a friend, and he was pretty amazing at comedy songs, and someone I looked up to, and he said, boy, your last special was so good. And it's like 4 songs in it, but I don't do them to do parodies. I don't do them as a I don't know, it's not a crutch. It's something I love, and it's something
there's nothing, no one will ever know this. I'm in all earnest say this. Doug Stanhope, who is the wordsmith of everyone will agree, just a genius.
Yeah.
Never know the beauty of crafting a comedy song and making yourself giggle and being excited. I wrote the last one I wrote was a song about Segura when we were doing like a weight loss challenge thing. And it was called The Ballad of Big Tommy Buns. And it was just about a fat guy who couldn't stop eating. And I've never enjoyed, because mostly when you do stand up, you don't know if it's good until you run it by the audience. But
Correct.
with a song, when you come up with the words that rhyme that make you laugh, you've got it. It's in a weird way. You go, I know I got it. As I bring it on stage, I know it's going to do well. And it was so much fun to write comedy songs. I loved it.
You should still do it. I mean, I have like 4 loaded up for a new special, and then obviously I would have done it by now. It would have been behind me until this craziness, which we're coming out of, which is good.
Ready for that. I am ready for that.
Oh my God, the whole world. What the fuck happened? Everything. It was like a perfect lightning, but there's something great about it that came out of it. I hate to say that, but it sure reset how I look at people.
It reset my compassion. I'm a lot more the word, I'm sure it's the wrong word, but empathetic, meaning I definitely look at someone working at CBS on the night shift during COVID a lot more gratefully than I ever did in my past. Like, I had a toothache very beginning of quarantine, and I was like, is CBS even open? In the middle of the night, I go down to CBS, and there's this young girl there, mask on, gloves on, behind a panel, and she was the only one in the store. And I just was like,
all right,
thank you so much for being here. Like,
yeah.
In a weird way, it connected you with humanity. And I'll tell you, I've as a grown man who's been on the road for 16 years straight, Travel Channel, stand up, all of it. I said to my daughters the other night watching a movie, I said, I'm gonna miss when this goes away, and you guys are just in your cars going places and hanging out with friends and out on the weekends. I go, it's nice to know where you are on a Friday night and know that you're watching a movie with me. It's the one thing about quarantine, and this is a glass half full kind of a look, is it made movies like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe for me really fun, because I know there's 3 of them, and I know that Wednesday we'll watch one, Thursday we'll watch one,
right.
Friday we're gonna watch one, and we're all gonna make jokes about it by the end, and it like
you'll always have that memory, always.
Yeah, I mean,
it's its own Great Depression in a way, except it's my dad went through that, and that made him and his siblings. He had to raise all 5 of them because his dad died as an alcoholic at that time. But this is different because we're lucky. We're lucky because we have the wherewithal. I mean, there are a lot of people that are just fucked right now.
I am hyper aware that my wife grew up pretty poor, although I don't know if she knew it at the time, but she now knows it a lot. Like, she'll say things. She'll say things, and my daughter Georgia just stuck her head back, like, "What the fuck?" But my wife is very has throughout the pandemic been very generous, and because I think she empathizes real quick with any little girl where no one's giving her stuff. Like whether it's school supplies or lunches or any of that stuff, that my wife connects with that really quick. And so, yeah, I've
connected more too, and it makes me think of takes you back to your childhood and your lunch program, and that kids aren't going to school, and then they don't have lunch, and there's people that have nothing. I mean, you were talking about, I had empathy for CBS, not CVS, because I was trying to sell a show to them, and then they didn't pick it up, and I had no more empathy for CBS. I waited 7 minutes to say that. I had to listen to all your stuff about loving your kids and caring. I mean, I watched your special. Okay, you talk about Georgia, you say you love her, and then you go, now the other one. Okay, I'm going to tell you, how old are they both?
14 and 16.
Okay, they were younger when you did this, slightly. Yeah. I did a special in 2007, and I talked about one of my daughters who's now 31, and she was 16, and I talked about her and said all she cares about is her cell signal. And oh my God, I'm Verizon. And she doesn't say anything. It's like, and I just turned her into this creature. And I talked about her thong and said it was an eye patch, and I was doing her laundry because I was a single dad and divorced. And for like 5 minutes, people loved the joke, but she did not. Ooh. So have you talked to your other daughter that you gave some stuff to in that special? Have you prepared her?
The first special I talked about her in was pretty aggressive was Secret Time. That's the one before this one. Right. And we were in the pool.
Was that on Showtime, that one?
No, that was on Netflix also.
Oh, okay.
The Machine was on Showtime. And then Secret Time on Netflix, and then
Hey, so it was Big Boy on Netflix.
Yeah, Hey Big Boy was on Netflix also. Right. And so we were in the pool, and I said, "Hey, just so you know, like my special came out, and I talk about you a lot." And she goes, "I know." And I went, "I should have asked you before, but like, are you cool with this?" She goes, "Yeah, I mean, I don't care." She goes, "Well, the only thing I don't like is that people who I don't know who I am." And I go, "Well, baby, but that's fine. They're all around the country." She goes, "No, Dad, it's Netflix. Like kids in the school are now like, oh, that's Isla." And I was like, "Oh, fuck. I never thought about that." Right. She was like, "It's fine. Like, I don't need to know people that I don't know." But she's like, now all of a sudden, like I'm famous at that school and I don't want to be. Like I was cool. I don't want to be famous. I just want to be the kid. I want to be me. And you're like, "Oh shit, I didn't realize I was doing that I was putting them into a position of being recognized without them making the decision of it." That never occurred to me, that. And then the next special, Hey Big Boy, I had a story about her getting her period, and I was like, all right, I got to run this by her.
That's all I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Is to run it by them. Period, I would say for sure.
Well, I told her, I said, "Listen, I tell the story." I told her, all the beats, but she knew them. She had already lived them. It was a true story. And so I told her, I said, "I'm going to tell this on stage." And she's like, okay. And then I told her on Conan first. And she was like, "Wait," she said to my wife, she goes, "He makes fun of me?" And Leanne's like, "Well, yeah." She's like, "Well, why?" And she goes, "Well, baby, no one really has a period party. Like it's a weird thing that you threw a party for your period and that you had a cake and it was all red. Like it's like not everyone's heard of that. And it's cool." And she was like, "Well, are people going to think I'm an idiot?"
Your wife said it's cool?
Yeah. She's like, "It's cool, but it's just like, it's very different than what other people do." And so then, at first she was weird about it, and then all of a sudden she started getting emails to my website. Emails started coming in from little girls going like, "Hey, I want to tell your daughter I said thank you for letting her let you tell that story on your special or on your special or on Conan."
Right.
Because I was scared about getting my period, and we threw a period party and we made it fun and it didn't have to be traumatic. And my daughter named her period. She named it Jason because she got it on Friday the 13th. But they go, all the girls would go, and we welcomed Daryl to our family the other day. Like they named their periods. And then when that happened, Isla was like, fuck yeah. Now things have gotten even more complicated. I made a joke, and just not even like a bad joke, really honestly, a joke in passing, like a lighthearted comment the way a comic
This is what you're saying. What you're teeing up is what happens before charges are pressed.
Yes. It was about Elliot Page. You know who that is, right?
Yes.
Okay, Elliot Page is now transitioned to male.
Yes.
And my wife showed me the picture, and I made a comment. I made a very flippant comment that made my wife laugh. It wasn't mean-spirited. I just made my wife laugh. And my daughter Georgia, my oldest, goes, "Hey, don't do that." And I went, "What?" She goes, "Let's not do that around here." And I went, "Baby, I was just talking to your mom." And she was like, "I know, but just so you know, that's not cool." And I went, "Well, actually, it's not mean-spirited." She goes, "I'm just saying, giving you a heads up." And I go, "Hold on." And I sit down. I go, "Baby, I do comedy for a living." She goes, "Hey, let me stop you right there." She goes, "If you make a joke that may come out transphobic, then I've got to go to school." And everyone's like, "Oh, her dad's transphobic." And I went, "Oh, shit." And she was like, "So let's keep our politics pretty above board." And I'm like,
she's so smart.
Who the fuck am I talking to?
Right.
And then I get fucking pissy. I'm like, hold on. The joke's a good fucking joke, Georgia. And it's not, I'm not punching down. It's a fucking, and she goes, "I'm just telling you." And then I told it to Whitney Cummings, and Whitney Cummings goes, "That's the joke. You tell the joke and then tell your daughter." And I was like, "Oh!" So I'm like, I'm excited for this to get back on stage at a club where you can work it out.
I have a lot of stuff that I did one song in London. I was playing the Leicester Square Theatre, and it was about transitioning, and it was met with nothing but love for this person that I was attracted to, but I didn't wind up with that person, and so but we stayed friends, but that didn't matter. They had more issues in London at the time, and their political radar had been aware of all of the people that are suffering and being totally profiled than we had opened up to at the same time, but even more so in the past couple of years. And I never did it again. I could feel it, and I apologized on stage. But there's other jokes that I have that I will do what you're suggesting, which is what I already have. It's already how I do it. I tee it up. I say this is going to be an inappropriate joke, and then I tell it, and then I explain why it's horrible and why it shouldn't be told. So it turns into a after-school special.
Yeah,
it turns into
that.
a public service announcement. When I was doing the Dave Chappelle comedy camp, I came up with an abortion joke, which is not something you joke about. And I was talking to Dave and Louis C.K., and I said, this is the joke, and I don't know if I should do it because it was full of a bunch of good church-going Republicans in a cornfield in Ohio. And at the same time, both of them said, open with it.
Open with it. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is
and
that
I did, but I buttered where I really tempered where morally it was. And it didn't get I don't know if it's ever going to get, I don't know if it's worth doing to take a bullet before and after it, you know?
Yeah. That's the question about, I
don't want to hurt anybody.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is like that's not the hill I want to die on sometimes. Where you go, I don't know, do I really? I don't, and I definitely don't want the wrong people to laugh. Like that's the worst.
That's the problem we have right now. People will laugh thinking they take it literal.
The joke I had a joke a long time ago about I've never put in a special, but it was about being at an airport bar right after 9/11, and I was next to a black dude, and a Middle Eastern guy walked in, and he had a briefcase, and he put it on the bar, and the black guy and I got really like this is right after 9/11 when everyone's like hyper aware. Guy's in the whole outfit and everything with the hat that turns into a mask, and he's like, and black guy and I are watching him, and then the guy orders a beer, and he's like, one bid, and I thought the black guy thought he blew up. He was like, ah, and so then. The guy didn't do anything, obviously. He drinks his beer and fucking walks out, and he had a beer. The fact that he had a beer means this is a pretty liberal fucking dude. We should know all this. This is all stuff we should know.
Right.
And then the guy leaves, and the black guy leans over, and he goes, I hope that motherfucker's not on my plane. And I said, that's what I was thinking. And then the punchline I really loved, or the idea I loved that I couldn't maybe eloquently put was, how crazy is it that this black guy is being racist with me? Like he's doing it with me. Like how far have we come as a people when a black man and a white man can commit a hate crime together? And then I was shocked. I go, and this was the point I wanted to express, but I couldn't, and everyone misinterpreted. I was like, wait, I'm white. Like what makes him think that my racism stops at Middle Eastern people? Like if I'm racist, I hate across the board. Like I don't just cafeteria kind of racist where I'm like,
it's comedically hate across the board. Other people are hating across the board.
And people would come up to me and be like, hey man, just so you know, my racism doesn't stop at Arabs either. And I'd be like, oh, that's not what I meant. And they'd be like, nah, just so you know, I hate them all also. And I was like, whoa, I don't hate anybody. I was trying to make a joke about that. And then I just stopped telling it because I was like, I must not be saying what I'm trying to say properly. Like the joke. And then I lightened it up to like, I ended up lighting it up to like the black guy I called the black guy on it and he goes, I'm not being racist. I'm just keeping it real. And I was like, well, no, I think that's racism. And he's like, no, it's not. And I was like, well, I've done it. I've seen it. I know what it looks like. And he goes, it's not racism. It's called keeping it real. And I was like, all right, well, let's keep it real. Let's hope our pilot's white. Hey, that was the end to get yourself out of it. But I was like, I'm fucking done now.
I have something like that now, and I don't know what to do because you need to be able to say, and then the white guy said, and then the black guy said, because it's a transition of, can't even say that. We're going through a change of vernacular and of etiquette and of human rights, ways of talking, and you could still do what you need to do if you're aware. And stay like I had a couple of rape jokes over the years, and they've evolved a little bit. And most in the last special, I believe I said, "I'm sorry, I don't want to offend any rapists that are here." I screwed up. I got so scared to say rapists, I said racist. But I said I don't want to offend any rapists, and that got a big laugh because I'm assuming there's at least a couple there, you know.
A couple. There's definitely, just by the numbers of what we've seen, there's more than a couple.
There are racist rapists in the audience. That's what I think. Speaking of that, let's go to another quick break. I like to take my breaks right when there's no water in the pool so we can dive in. I shop online a lot. I do. I can't help it. And most of it is legal. No, all of it is legal because they can trace you. I saw it in a movie, in a documentary. And I love shopping online, especially now. And when you want to be able to afford certain things, you need help. And I'm going to tell you how you can get perfect help. It's from Honey. Because we all shop online, and we've all seen that promo code field taunt us at checkout. But thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Do you understand what this means? I'm always doing that on checkout, and I don't have a promo code. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online. They range from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular fashion brands and even food delivery. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button drops down and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons it can find for that site. If Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. Honey saved me some money. It saved me money actually on some pizza. I like pizza. And it saved me money on some pads of paper because at one point I was eating paper because I didn't have the promo code instead of pizza. I did save $15 on a pair of headphones, and I wear them sometimes on my head. Honey has found its over 17 million members over $2 billion in savings. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/Bob. That's joinhoney.com/Bob, B-O-B. You want to do this, don't miss out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in seconds. And by getting it, I'm telling you, you're going to do yourself a solid and support this podcast. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/Bob. That's joinhoney.com/Bob. Okay, we're back. When you do, I started podcasting not to join the Flavor of the Month Club because I really enjoy the conversation. I love it. It is voluminous. You are so prolific. You've got your podcast, which is the Bertcast. You've got Two Bears, One Cave with Tom Segura.
Yep.
And you've got the Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel competitive with how they do? Do you look at the numbers? Do you know where they're at? Do you go through that shit? Or do you just go, I'm just going to do these things and hope people love them?
Because it does seem like they would be competitive. What happened was I was doing the Bertcast forever, and I started doing this cooking show, Something's Burning. And Something's Burning was doing well. And Bill, this is really behind the scenes, but we were going to sign this big deal with this company, and I didn't want to give my advertising to this company. I wanted to keep my advertising the way it was. And so I said, well, listen, I don't want to screw our company. What if I just do a different podcast? And then Bill was like, hey, why don't we do a podcast together? This is before Tom and I had done one. And Bill was like, and I was like, really? And Bill's like, yeah, let's do a podcast. He goes, let's do one, see if we like it. So, and we'll never air it, but we'll do one, see if we like it. And we did one. It was like 3 hours long. We smoked a cigar and we had a fucking blast. I mean, we had such a blast that we walked away going like, oh, we're definitely doing a podcast. Like we're definitely doing a podcast. But then Bill had to shoot a movie and was taken out of, or was doing like one of his TV shows and was taken out of the scenario. And so it was like 2 months that we just didn't do another one. We did that one. And then I was like, well, I guess, and I talked to Bertolina about it, and he was like, maybe we'll just release this as just like something special that was fun that we do. And I was like, great. And then in the period, I started talking to Tom, and I was like, yeah, I did a podcast with Bill, and it was so much fun. I don't think we're going to do any more. Tom's like, how come we've never done a podcast? And we had talked about it a long time ago, talked about doing a podcast called Two Bears, One Cave as a joke. And he goes, and we did the same scenario. He goes, I'll tell you what, let's do one, see if we like it. And if we like it, we'll do another one. And we did it, and we really enjoyed it. And Bill and I weren't doing one. And so then we said, we'll do it twice a month, so we don't get overwhelmed, so that we still enjoy it. And we started doing it twice a month. And then all of a sudden we aired the one that Bill and I did just randomly as a one-off, and everyone fucking loved it. And they were loving Two Bears, One Cave. And they were like, and as a podcast fan, Joe Rogan can do 4 podcasts a week. I'm going to listen to all of them. Yeah. Segura has Your Mom's House. He's got his new one, Talk with Tom. Tom Talks. Like Burr has his. I'm a fan, so I'm there for all the content. And so,
especially now, I mean, this has been.
Well, that's what happened is the pandemic kicked in, and me, Tom, and Bill both at the same time said, "Listen, we're hungry for content. We're stuck in our houses. Let's double it and do every week." And so I started doing every week with Bill and every week with Tom, and they both started growing. And neither Tom or Bill, they're both good friends, so they don't care. And it's like the three of us, like, we don't cross pollinate really. And in an odd way, I think they're different fans. The Bill Burr podcast really ultimately is Bill's fans. Like, that is all Bill's fans. Like, that is Bill's got a fan base that is such a thumbprint of who he is. That
Bill is an anomaly. Bill is one of no exclusion of you, but he is one of the best stand-ups alive,
without a doubt. And I really think,
and actors, and I mean, he's exploding in every direction. I know, because he farted on me.
I think our podcast, Bill Burt, is at its best when I listen and Bill rants and I giggle and I just facilitate Bill being more Bill. Bill is really like that kind of guy where whatever idea you have, he takes it sideways. And Two Bears, One Cave is Tom, and I've known Tom and Bill probably the exact same. I've known Bill for over 20 years now. I've known Tom for about 18. And me and Tom, Two Bears, One Cave is me and Tom's sensibility. We're gigglers. We think of stupid shit. We are dumb. We make each other laugh. It is more Beavis and Butthead, more like Man Show than Bill Burr, which is really kind of, I think, more like an inside comedy podcast, and really, honestly, just me milking Bill's brain.
You know what's amazing about him? Because he came up the hard way, the right way, especially for him. I mean, he came out at that Tweeter Center, that Opie and Anthony virus tour. Again, I was standing right there when he got off stage. He was in a cold sweat. He just said, I bombed. Did you see that? It was the worst thing ever. I said, no, you just defined your career. You don't even know what. And I was standing next to Jeff Wills, and we were watching the monitor going, holy fuck, what did we just see? Because he's going 13 minutes, 14 minutes, you know.
Oh, it's the greatest. I've watched that over and over again. I showed it to my dad. Like, that is one of my favorite.
It's definable. I mean, it tells you who this guy is going to be. He's a warrior, and that's what.
It's interesting you say definable, because I have a theory that in order to in stand up, in order to pop, in order to really go to the next level, you need some sort of viral moment, some sort of moment where you are where things explode. Now, and I'll give you my examples. Bill's Philly rant. Now, you also, sidebar, you also need, I didn't say this, but you need a body of work to back up that viral moment.
Right.
So that viral moment will introduce you to strangers. But if you have that body of work, then they can find all the shit and then they become fans. So for Bill, it's the Philly rant. For Jim Jeffries, it's getting punched in the head at the Comedy Store. For Rogan, I believe all the television, all the stuff he did, nothing compares to that Carlos Mencia moment.
I knew you were going to say that.
It established him.
And you know what's interesting? I was on with Joe, and I had a wonderful time. and because Joe again is an anomaly. These
hardcore
people
anomaly.
don't come around. This is, he's basically, it's what Johnny Carson's ratings were when there were 3 networks, not even a Fox network, and that's the most listened to thing on the planet at this time. But I asked him about that, and he had talked about it on the show before, but this time, and it came out in the next day, it was picked up, which I didn't expect, and it said that he forgives Carlos Mencia, and he's not mad anymore, which, it's interesting because you consider the source of where that came from for Carlos, where a person is in their life, that's what they do. And it's not an accident if you've got verbatim stuff that you're doing from a well-known genius. And so, but it's evolution for Joe, and he's not just, everybody criticizes everybody. It's fucking annoying already, but he meant it. He meant that why harbor that anymore? Why wave that traffic cop citizen's arrest badge of honor? And he was doing it out of righteousness, out of righteous indignation. So
Joe, when he did that for just us like ham and eggers at the time, who were getting maybe $1,000 on the road, was like a really good weekend.
Oh, really? Where'd you get that? No, I'm just kidding.
Laughs Unlimited. And so,
Scott, Laughs Unlimited had 2 sets of books. I remember there was one that showed and had just the number, and it was half of what you were supposed to get paid. And then he had the real book. So 2 literal books that he would show you. Go ahead.
There's
Sorry.
a 3rd book where he didn't pay you.
3rd book is just pictures. He plays hangman.
But I remember Segura came over to my house and we watched it. And you felt like someone standing up for us in the marketplace of intellectual property, because no one wants to be stolen from, and I think it put down a stamp of Joe Rogan is a stand-up comedian. Like you may know him as Fear Factor, you may know him as an actor. He is a stand-up comedian first and foremost. And I know for a fact, I deep dove Joe after that, and he had the Joe Show at the time, which was all over and really interesting. And you saw him versus hecklers, and you saw all these great things. And then, the podcast is the game changer for Joe.
Because he's also, not to cut you off or to negate what you said, but he's a broadcaster too. So he is a stand-up, I think, equally to broadcasting in a way. Yeah. Clearly now, he's overshown a lot of people.
He's such an interesting guy. And even more, it's so funny. My dad, when Joe started getting really big, my dad's like, so what's this Joe Rogan like? 'Cause my dad knows all our friends, but he doesn't know Joe. Joe's just very private, not a guy that's coming over for Easter, where Tom and Joey and Ari and everyone will come over for like a party, but Joe's kind of, a little more reserved. And my dad's like, what's this guy like? Is he like super serious? And I only know the comedian. I only know the fucking moron Joe. Like, I don't know. Like, I know, like, we talk about serious stuff and we've had serious conversations, but my favorite part of Joe is, like, I said to my dad, I go, there's the side of Joe where you get high and he says to you, hey man, if we could throw fish 10 feet in the air and they'd start flying, do you think we'd have any fish left? And you're like, what the fuck?
Well, it's kind of a drugged physics question.
Yeah.
If you're on a train and you throw a ball, and it explodes, does pus come out?
It's silly Joe. And right. silly Joe is like my favorite. But there's so many parts of Joe that people don't, but silly Joe, there's this like super compassionate Joe where like I had a bad friendship with a comedian that went sour and he was like way more famous than I was, and I was taking a lot of heat for it online. And Joe came up, and I was fine. It's fine. It's fine, and everything's fine now. But I remember I was very hard to make friends. I didn't want to make friends, and I wasn't making friends with Joe or Joey, and I was distancing myself. So I was like, you know what? I got my family. I'm good. I just do stand up. I don't need friends in this business. Like, we'll just do stand up. And Joe came out one time, and we were at the Ice House, and he had 2 shots of Jack and 2 Heinekens. And he came up, and he just was like, here. And I was like, hey. And he goes, hey, you're a good guy. I was like, oh, thanks. And he was like, no, Like, you're a good guy, and I want to be your friend. And I was like, yeah, okay. And he goes, no, you're not listening to me right now. Like, I want to be friends. And I was like, okay. And he went, hold on. He goes, there's a lot of guys trying to be your friend right now, and you're not letting us. So if you let us, we won't let you down, man. We'll just be your friend. I'm gonna get teary-eyed talking about it. And I was like, I'm not in a place to make friends. Oh my God, he knows that I'm not in a place to make friends. Like, and he's saying like I can trust him and Joey and Tom and Ari.
See, Bert, this is what's different from when I came up. There was a whole misogynistic group. And yeah, I had a lot of women comedian friends, a lot.
Yeah.
And I would say most of the people that I looked up to the most comedian wise, at least half were black. So I would always, like, they're doing a documentary on Fat Tuesdays that used to take place at the Comedy Store in the main room, and I was one of the few white guys that went up, and I did it for 6 months because I felt like I'd lost my muse. I felt like I lost what being funny is, and I went, if I can make a black audience laugh and it can be real, then I can be real, because I've lost it. And I'd been doing commercial family TV, and I would go up, and I'm gonna do a thing on this doc when they're able to shoot. But it was Guy Torrey, and it was Cedric, and it was Wanda, and it was beautiful, you know. And then one night it turned into like an altercation, and I just said,
I remember hearing about that.
You heard about the altercation?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was pretty upsetting because I was on stage, and then someone yelled out, "Get this white guy off the stage and bring up another brother." And then a lady from the back yelled, "Leave Bob alone. Bob's a good man. Don't." And then the whole audience started yelling at each other. And I said, hey, please, everybody, I'm really sorry. This person, he has a right to his opinion, and you have a great night of wonderful comedians coming up, and I'm really sorry. And I wish you all a good night. And then about half the crowd applauded, and this guy was still yelling. And that was the last time I did it. That was the end of my 6-month run. But it was real special to me. And to be welcomed in, that's the club I wanted to be welcomed in. So to hear you, I didn't have a lot. My act used to be, I have no friends and I have no life and I live in a moped. That was my first 5 minutes. And it was just nothing. It was non sequiturs. My mother's Gumby, my father's Pokey, and I'm Mr. Potato Head, and just like weird shit. And that's why I had no friends. Those are my jokes. And then I started to make some friends. And Shanling was my first friend. And then I started to know like everybody, literally everybody. And when you get emotional about Joe Rogan coming up to you and him having the guts and the emotion to say, I want to be your friend, you're not letting people in, that's an evolved generational thing. That's an evolved thing that people didn't say that to each other 20 years ago. It just makes me feel good. And it makes me feel good that you're that kind of person.
Well, that's in all honesty, when you earlier said, or you're the resurgence of the Comedy Store is getting into the Comedy Store. I didn't get past until I was like 42 or something, maybe 42, I think. And it was like Joe was back. I was hanging out. Joe was back there.
Yeah, because Joe was banned after the Carlos Mencia video, I know.
Yeah.
And then Mike Binder put that all in the doc on Showtime.
Yeah. And I was there at the time, and it was something I talked about in therapy about, like, I want to perform at the Comedy Store. It's one of my goals, but I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to. And I remember saying is that I want to perform at the Comedy Store. My therapist was like, well, if you want to perform at the Comedy Store, you got to do what it takes to perform at the Comedy Store. That's what you need to do. And I had done shows there on Tuesdays, but I wanted to be like a paid regular. And so I fucking, at 44 with a full career behind me, I literally was like, tell me what to do. And Adam at the time was very, God bless him, was like, hey man, I have too many people I need to pass, and you're not top on the list. I think you're great. I'm just
God bless him.
He's like, I'm telling you, that's how it is. He goes, I got a lot of people to pass, and you're not the first one.
Right.
And then one night he was like, came up and he's like, you're passed. And I was like, really? And he was like, yes, it's too late. You should have been passed a long time ago. I'm so sorry. It's just that's how it works. And I was like, I'm in. And that was like that for me was like you could hang out with your friends. You felt like you belonged.
See, I missed that. I was off working. I was off doing TV, but I was in there waiting for all you guys. I had, and everybody I knew went and got TV shows. Arsenio, okay, I'll see you later, love you. Howie Mandel, bye. Enjoy St. Elsewhere. And, and then I was just still emceeing, but I was bringing Eddie Murphy out for Raw, and I was hanging out with Richard, and I did a movie with Richard, but it didn't, I never thought I'd ever work again every year. But then I kind of regret that I didn't get to be there when you got passed, and then that all happened. That whole giant resurgence that literally put it back on the map, and we'll come back after this craziness is over.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait till it comes back. I'm ready for the craziness to be over and to be at the store and to hang out in the back. I mean, my favorite part was like everyone fucking hugged in the back. No one didn't hug each other when they saw each other.
Yeah.
And I'm so ready I'm so ready to get back at the store.
Is there any chance an ambulance is coming to your home? Are you sure everything's okay?
Fucking, I'm ready to get out of this goddamn house.
Where do you live? Is it a bad area?
No. We just live you know what it is? It's like we bought this house in 2008. I had no money, and it's such a great house, and we got so lucky, but we're by like a major road. So you hear, and by the way, this is stuff like, like if you're rich and you moved into this house, you'd be like, how the fuck do you live here? We live behind a Jack in the Box. You hear people ordering. You hear when they start cooking fries, you smell it.
So it's like you're in New York.
Yeah. By the way, both me and my wife both lived in New York, and we're like, it's not that bad. Like,
right.
Deal with it.
It's so spacious for New York.
But you get like, especially if you get famous people that back when we did the podcast here that would come here, like Bobby Flay came here and was like, Are you making French fries? And I was like, oh, no. There's a Jack in the Box in the alley. He's like, okay.
He's a great guy.
Oh, Bobby Flay is the best. He's like, he's an interesting guy because we met in Dallas. We were doing a upfront when I was at Travel Channel and he was at Food. And we did an upfront. We hung out, we met. And then he was like, you got a podcast, right? I said, yeah. And he goes, what's that about? And I was like, I just do it out of my man cave. And he's like, can I do it? And I was like, you want to do my podcast? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to be in LA next week. Can I come by and do your podcast? And I was like, of course. And he walked in, you could tell like he was in a suit. He had a town car, like a car service drop him off.
Right.
And he walked into my house like, I didn't need to wear a suit for this, did I? And I was like, oh no. And then he got into my man cave and there was no air conditioning. It was in the summer. It's hot. Like he's looking and all he sees is a Zoom recorder and 2 mics. He was like, this is it? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, you make money from this? And I was like, yeah, can you believe it? And he was like, oh, I got to do one of these. I was like,
he is doing one, isn't he?
I think he is. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't get excited hearing shrimp sizzle.
I would be fascinated if he talked gossip. Oh,
yeah.
Like if you could that's the thing. Everyone that's doing podcasts now missed that wave of what was so fascinating about them is when we would just all talk shit about each other, not realizing people were listening,
right?
And just ruin relationships, ruin everything. You'd come back from a weekend and be like, fuck the Toledo Funny Bone and fuck the manager, fuck the bartender.
Fuck the bartender. I did fuck the bartender.
It was.
But there's still something like what we're doing right now, what you do, it's conversational. And that's what a lot of them that I've gone on as a guest, it's not. They end up with, let's do the top 10 things you think of when I say this, waterfront, I don't know, uterus.
I did Kelly Clarkson the other day, which was a blast.
She's a doll, and I love doing that. I saw you on there. It was very good.
Oh, thank you. I
wouldn't be seeing it, but then everything goes right on to Instagram or whatever, and so you end up seeing the whole segment.
Yeah, it was.
You were really funny, and it was with Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani, yeah, thank you. Yeah, Gwen Stefani is fucking awesome. She's beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, I know, but you got to stop drooling because you're married and she's got a guy and she's royalty.
Just absolutely gorgeous. Just to look at, you're like, oh my God. Like, I think she's a genetic, like, her body is like everything.
Oh, she's got a hollow back.
Yeah.
Isn't that what she says? I got a hollow back, girl.
Got a hollow back, yeah.
Right. I misunderstand lyrics.
what as a podcaster, I'm backstage, and when you're, for people that don't know, when you do those shows, they mic everyone, but everyone's mic is connected to a speaker so that people in the audience could hear it, or people backstage can hear it. There's a speaker playing what's mic'd. And as a podcaster, they go to the break, and Gwen says to Kelly, so what are you working on for your new album? And she's like, I got like 8 songs, or maybe it was flip-flopped. And Gwen's like, I got like 8 songs. I think I could do 9. I really, and they started gossiping about writing songs for literally like 7 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, someone release all the audio.
This is the shit you want to hear. Right.
Someone take the audio from the second the mic goes on Kelly until the second it goes off. Release that as a podcast. Let the guests know. Release that as a podcast. Me and Gwen got into a conversation about my daughters, about like my daughter. The joke I made. By the way, I gotta write this down because I think this could work. My daughters are getting older and they want distance, and we were just talking, and I said, yeah, they want distance. Gwen's like, how old is your oldest daughter? I said 16, and you can feel she doesn't like want me in her life the way she used to, and it breaks your heart. She goes, that's got to be rough. I said, it's like breaking up with your chick but still living together. Like I go, she's still here, and I'm like, so I guess I can't come into your room? And she's like, no, you can't come into my room. And Gwen started laughing, and I was like, oh, put that in a podcast. And like that, all the stuff in between, I would listen to all of it, and the stuff that they have produced.
Well, that's sometimes you get it in concentrated, like you end up like this Bee Gees documentary on HBO. Did you see this thing?
I've recorded it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's what you're talking about, and but it's obviously it's the resin of it all.
Yeah,
it's all those moments, but you see the highs and the lows, and they are high and they are low, and that's not what podcast conversation, which gets into the minutia, gets real important issues out sometimes, like talk about your kids and how they observationally, it's great stand-up, it's great writing, it's great whatever, it's what stuff comes out of. But this Bee Gees doc, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And,
really?
And then you don't realize how many decades of different kinds of music they did, and they're so chastised for the disco sound that they did.
They really took a bullet with that, huh?
They also took Carlos Mencia's act and they redid it. They did the whole thing. Do you ever notice when a Mexican walks into a hamburger place and says, where are your tacos? See, that's racist, what I just did. But the Bee Gees, it's the Bee Gees.
I thought you were doing Gilbert Godfrey doing Carlos Mencia's act.
I was too. Gilbert could ruin anyone's career. Gilbert, he did it with his tsunami joke on Twitter, and then he did it with me during my Comedy Central roast. He said something about me, and I can't repeat it, but tabloids have picked it up as being fact, and he said it during the inappropriate Comedy Central days. I guess I could say it, but why would I want to say that about myself? I mean, he went and said it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. I just was talking about your roast today.
Gilbert said, I just want to say it's not true that Bob Saget raped and killed a girl in 1990. Again, I'd like to repeat, Bob Saget did not, I repeat, did not rape and kill a girl in 1990. So somebody will put that on Twitter, and then people will retweet it, and then suddenly that's how news gets made. You know, we are in we are in the biggest disinformation world.
Me and Tom are our own worst enemies. We put stuff, one of our fun things was to make up rumors about each other, and then it would become an inside joke with our fans who would then promote it, and then all of a sudden one day it would come back and it would be hilarious, like
just whispering down the lane with something terrible.
Like you'd tell a joke, and then what would happen was fans would say the joke in like a comment section, and then people that didn't know the joke would get upset and defend it, and then the fans would laugh hysterically at getting someone worked up over something that wasn't real. Like I remember with the big one that we had to actually put a kibosh on was that I was racist. And it was obviously a joke between two friends of, Bert's the most racist man alive and most racist comic in America. And everyone, by the way, I'm not even speaking about race in any of my specials. I don't even talk about it at all.
Right.
But it was a joke. And so then our fans will put it in their comment section and be like, I love the new special, super racist, but I'm always here for racism. And then people that didn't know would be like, first of all, they're jokes, okay? And it's cool. He makes fun of everyone, and people are like, he doesn't make fun of anybody. Like, I don't know. And so our fans
you're talking about
lose their minds, going like, you are oblivious. You are someone that doesn't know. Like, and then Black Lives Matters happened, and I was like, hey, we got to get rid of the racist fucking punchline, Tom. Because I posted a black square that day, and I got destroyed, like fucking my comment sections. And then I pulled my comments off, and everyone's like, "You're a coward. Your silence is deafening." And I was like, "Oh fuck."
No, you cannot win, but you can put your statement out. I'm never taking down my black square because that's where that was that day, and it's a good message. I know I'm going to get hate for saying that. How can you get hate for saying that? I don't understand it. We've just spent a good, I don't know, it must be 10 years, but really 4 years of a lot of hate breeding and hate coaching and hate leadership and both sides of everything is hate. I mean, there's no humor. That's why you're so necessary. That's why what you're doing. I mean, what are you going to do now besides go eat dinner? I assume you're going to, what do you have, like 3-4 dinners a night?
I have about 2. By the way, you think that's a joke. I always have 2 dinners. I have one that's healthy and then one that I want.
That's so funny. My wife got me these refrigerated prepared meals that keep me healthy. And then at the last minute, I'll just put a pizza in, it's like,
we did that the other night.
It was 2 nights ago. We were doing that because we were watching all this stuff.
Yeah. Friday night's pizza night in our house. So I make myself salmon and vegetables, and then I order a pizza.
That's what happens here.
Yeah.
I went from quinoa to chicken wings.
Oh.
But so now what's your 2021 wish for what you want to do now? It's going to be, I feel like it's going to be a better year. I
think it is.
It has to be because the vaccine out. I'm a believer in it. I just want to go on record.
My daughters are not. They're like, we got a long life ahead of us. You take it, get outside, have some fun. We're going to roll the dice, Dad. And I was like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, they Google the stats, but they know that they might not get sick, but they could be a carrier. But then again, why would a 13-year-old girl care?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that mean about 13-year-old girls?
No.
I have 3 daughters, so I've watched different stages of apathy, but not really. My girls now are better. It gets really great. It gets
what age?
30.
Great. 14 more years.
When the braces come off, look out and give them a cell phone as early as possible. It's bad and it's good. You got to know where they are. That's the thing.
I tracked my daughter Halloween. Obviously, everyone's socially distancing, right?
Yeah.
No one's going out. She goes, can I go over to my friend's house, which at the time was cool in LA? And I go, yeah, of course. She goes, okay. I said, what are you doing? You guys doing anything? She goes, no, we're just going to go over there and watch a movie. So I was like, okay, cool. She doesn't know I turned on the location server on her phone.
Have to.
So I go over to my wife. I go, hey, I think Georgia's at an AA meeting. She was like, what? And I go, that's where they hold the AA meetings. She's over at the church by the park. And so then I call her. I go,
now would Georgia mind this, that you're saying this?
I don't give a fuck. Fuck her. She's fucking lying to me. I go, what are you doing at the church? And she goes, what? She goes, I go, what are you doing at the church? She goes, I'm not at the church. I go, bitch, I got you on fucking Life 360. I know exactly where you are. And she goes, you're like a psycho ex-boyfriend. I go, you've never even had a boyfriend, and I am worse. I am fucking way worse.
I am your father.
You can't put a restraining order on me, motherfucker.
No, the truth, well, they can. They could file, they want to be disenfranchised. What do you call it?
Oh, yeah.
I want to be emancipated.
Emancipated.
Well, I'm Liam Neeson when it comes to my kids. So if anything happens to my daughter, I will hunt someone. I would do anything to. I won't kill anybody. I mean, I'll have to have that done for me. But
Joey Diaz already said he'd do it for me.
Oh,
Joey
that's
Diaz
great.
Joey Diaz said we were talking about there was a professional athlete that had gotten in some trouble and with sexual assault, and Joey and I were just bullshitting about it. And then he just looks at me. He goes, "What if that's your daughter?" And I go, "Oh, I'd cut his fingers off. I'd capture him. I'd capture him.
That doesn't stop him. He's still got a nub.
I know, but he couldn't throw footballs anymore. And I was like, tit for tat. And Joey goes, "You don't have to do that. You call me, I'll do it." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, Joey." He was like, "Of course. That's what friends are for." I was like, "Oh yeah, there we go."
Now there's a guy that I've known a really long time, and it took him a really long time to get known. And now he is in a zone and it will happen once we're able to go out and perform. We're all going to be like animals out of cages. We're just going to be unleashed. I mean, you've been fortunate in that you've been doing these drive-ins and stuff all through 2020. But I think once we're able to play theaters, and you'll be playing, you had some huge, wonderful venues on your schedule.
A
lot of civic arenas and stuff. And
yeah, I had some shows I was really looking forward to. The Ryman, I was ready to play the Ryman. We had two shows sold out.
I saw that.
I'm ready to get back into theaters. I've had a blast at drive-ins. Hey, listen, if God forbid something happens and we got to do drive-ins for the rest of the year, I'll do drive-ins all through the summer. I enjoyed it, but the intimacy. We did one amphitheater in Colorado Springs. Grand Junction, Colorado. And it was intimate. They were all in their own little pods, but it was like 1,600 people in an amphitheater. And it was like the size of a theater, but a little outdoors. Just that little intimacy, just a little bit of intimacy was the best show I did all year. And I was like, oh, get me back in the theater. I've been at these drive-ins. It's like swimming with overalls on. And then you get into a theater, and it's like being in a Speedo, and you're like a goddamn dolphin just.
You add so much joyousness. And the other thing that is hilarious to me in your specials is that your hair is perfectly cut. Your beard is perfectly trimmed, but the shirt comes off right away. You are completely groomed. You are, I would imagine, everywhere. I would imagine you are a very clean person, is my guess.
I would argue I am. People would argue I'm not.
No, because you put out that Viking.
Yeah,
Viking party.
My beard is.
It's awesome.
Right down the lines.
Oh my God!
I love that. I got a pair of liners, and I love trimming it straight down. But yeah,
But then most people that do that would leave the shirt on.
Most people that are into maintenance like to cover themselves up. I have a short list. I have a short checklist of how, like, someone needs to look at me before I go on shirtless, right? Before I go on, because there are certain things that will throw an audience off. Like if I do so if I do I've done sets where my necklace is like that, where like one thing's up.
Right. And there's no continuity. So of all things,
all people can see. And you're like, oh shit. So I always tell my wife's at my specials, I go, I need my belt to be in the center. I need my necklace to be down.
You could do these yourself with a simple Post-it.
Yeah.
I could just say right next to, tape to the mic right before you walk out.
I need to see it. Like I need to make sure that
you grab it and make your cross
no lint in my belly button, because I can't see that. Right.
Oh, you got to make sure that's clean. There's
no lint in the belly button.
Right.
I get like the week leading up to a special, I get super cognizant of anyone scratching my chest.
You don't want to, or a zit. You can't have a zit. Yeah,
like a dog jumping up and scratching my chest and having scratch marks. Because then you go on. If it happens on the road, you're fine. You go, oh, my dog jumped on me. And everyone's like, whatever. But if that's on a special, so like, it's crazy. And so then we do the special, we do Hey Big Boy. We film 4 shows. Do the first show, fucking great. Look perfect. Everything's great. Everything's fine.
Fourth show, your nipple fell off.
No, second show, I have mustard on my pants. Like a big. People are so busy looking at my chest.
They could get that out, by the way, for takes. They can paint that out in post. Absolutely, swear to God. I've had shirts changed colors for me on things.
I go, who the fuck let me eat a hot dog with mustard before I went on to do my second show? Just over my jeans, like,
So, are there people that you've noticed take their shirts off? Because I've seen a couple other people do it. Have you? And you know that it's because they saw you do it, I assume.
I've had only people that have ever taken their shirts off. People have taken their shirts off, and I don't think
Tig Notaro didn't, and there was a purpose for that.
She might be the OG and taking her shirt off on specials. That was like next level.
I agree, because the statement of it was quite brave and beautiful.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Ari one time called me and he goes, all right, I got to tell you, I just performed with my shirt off. It is fucking awesome. And I was like, I told you, it really is freeing as shit.
So you didn't think he was stealing from you?
Nah, he's always been a shirtless kind of guy. But no, yeah, I haven't really seen much of it. I was at the Ice House one time and someone's like, Bert, someone's doing your act. And I was like, what? Thinking they were doing one of my bits. And so I run in and it's just this fat Mexican guy with his shirt off. And I was like, hey, my act isn't me being fat, asshole. I have more of an act than that. Like, fuck. He's fat and disgusting just like you. It's your thing.
Well, you're not. You've got such a big heart. You're such a good guy. See, that's what happens when you're 64. You just say shit like that. I didn't think I'd get like that, but I'm more sincere, and you got to say it when it's there.
Look, I told you this with Bill, but you will always go down in my book as one of the good guys, because we did that college in New York, in like CUNY, New York, or SUNY, New York, or something, and you gave me $5,000, and I was like that was a huge payday. You gave me a check backstage. You're like, great set, thanks for working with me, and I was like, no, thank you, and you're like, no, you did a great job, thank you. And I got in the car and I opened it, and I was like, oh shit, I got the wrong check.
No, I was really excited about that. That was the night before I opened on Broadway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I opened in Drowsy Chaperone the night after, and I had the book in my car of this play, and I was learning it before my set and after my set, and you were amazing.
Oh, I recorded. It's so funny. I don't know if I still have it, but I recorded my set, and then I ended up recording like 45 minutes of your set because I left my camera on rolling, and I remember going like, this is at the beginning of YouTube days. I was like, dude, I could throw up Bob Saget's set and get 1 million fucking views. I was like, fuck my set.
I get crazy when people basically have all their cell phones up. I love when Dave and Chris started getting everybody to zip them up in bags. I don't think Bill Burr cares that much, does he?
No,
because he just writes a new 4 hours in a week. But I don't like it because it's basically they could make a special. There's enough material.
I always tell people like don't record it because like you should be in the moment. And whenever you put your phone up, you all of a sudden you're watching your phone when you can see it so much better with your eyes.
That's the whole world. That's what's happened.
It's the same with I understand that like I'm a hypocrite when I say this. I put everything on Instagram, but the second like my daughters do something special like for school, the second you go up like this and start recording it, all of a sudden you're no longer in the moment. You're the guy fucking videotaping it.
I agree, and I see a lot of people doing it with their baby's first steps, and you do want to have. It's not bad to have your baby's first steps. That's a good one. But if you're videotaping the kid all day long, I get concerned that you're really not. But then again, being a parent with a toddler, if you remember it. It's okay to film it all the time because it's fucking
me out.
It's exhausting.
Fucking exhausting. I miss it. I always say to my wife, just one more run. Like, what if I got a girl pregnant on the road and brought it home? Like, but yeah,
you're not laughing, so it sounds like you're thinking of it. Well, I would say I got a vasectomy, and I got about 7 minutes of material out of it because It's not getting reversed, the material or the vasectomy. I have one question I've been wanting to ask you, and maybe it's a joke for you. I don't think it is because it's not as good as it should be. When you put your shirt on, does your wife say, "I'm not in the mood"? Is that a joke for you? It won't be now. I said it on here.
By the way, I can still use it. And I go,
I think you should. Who's going to hear the end of this? We've been talking for a long time, so that's good. How long do your podcasts go? You and Bill, for example. How long does your solo one go?
Solo goes for whenever it's over. Usually, it depends. With comics, you can always go longer because I think they understand the format and they go, and they can talk. Every comic, I think, the longer the conversation goes, the better it gets. With Rogan, everything was always 3. I did 5 hours with Rogan once. Most of mine with comics go like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Right.
And then with not comics, like if I have a musician on, I keep it at an hour. Or like anyone that's not a comic, it's like an hour because they don't really understand. And you can see them starting to do stuff like, I'm wrapping it up. And you're like, oh, fuck. But me and Tom are always like an hour 30. Me and Bill are like an hour 15, hour 30.
That's smart. And what's Bill's Monday morning? That's about an hour and 15.
That's an hour, and that's just him. That's just him. And I've seen him do it live.
He's been doing it at the Troubadour, trying to help the Troubadour because his heart is fucking giant.
It really is. And by the way, we have the same cardiologist, so I know that.
Oh, that's great.
I got him a cardiologist. Bill fucking called me up. He goes, "What's our cardiologist's name?" And I tell him, and he goes, "Hey, can you schedule an appointment for me?" I go, "No, I'm not fucking calling our cardiologist to get you." He goes, "You got his fucking phone number right there. It would take 5 seconds." And I go, "Oh."
You know what? I had him as one of my first guests on the podcast. We didn't have Zoom. I don't think the guys from Zoom were making money at the time, or the lady, whoever owns the company. And Bill said, "You know what your act is?" I'm like, "Oh, fuck, this is going to be painful." He says, "Your act is all the lines you couldn't say on Full House with the word fuck every 5 seconds." He said, "That's what my act is?" And then he just keeps going. To get ripped apart by him, it's the only friend I have that makes me feel like Don Rickles is back telling me what a piece of crap I am, you know. And
he told me when I started losing weight, he goes, I haven't been drinking. He goes, "I can tell." I said, "Wait, we're on a Zoom." I go, "How can you tell?" And he goes, "You don't look like a wayward seaman." And I went, "What?" He goes, "You look like you just got off a boat every time you've been drinking. Your face is all fucking scrunched up." And he goes, "I can see your eyes." I went, "Oh, okay. Thanks, Bill."
He is going to do so much great acting and I know he just did something just now. I know he's on Mandalorian, and it's supposed to be breathtaking from what I've heard. For people that are on, life support, it's breathtaking, his work.
One episode, it's like Kevorkian.
It is Kevorkian. He is the Klaus von Bülow of acting. But he is, you know who Klaus von Bülow is? Oh, it's before Kevorkian. It's another one of those guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he helped put people down. He was a good guy.
Someone was telling me that Kevorkian had like ulterior motives, that he was harvesting something, like he wasn't just about euthanasia. There was something else about him.
I always thought euthanasia was just a group of, everybody at home can finish that. And I like letters better than emails or comments. Are you going to feed your family?
Yeah, I'm going to make a Blue Apron.
That's what you're going to have tonight?
I'm going to make 2 Blue Aprons. Yeah.
What are Blue Aprons? I honest to God don't know.
Oh, they're about to be a sponsor of your podcast because someone's going to hit them up and go, Blue Apron is a meal delivery service that delivers fresh ingredients by a chef who has planned a meal and has the ingredients and has the menu or the recipe in there that's delivered to your door, fresh, that you can make in your house. And it teaches you so much about cooking. It literally is the greatest sponsor I've ever had for the podcast because we have Blue Aprons. We get 2 a week, and they send them to us. They're a sponsor of the podcast. And because of them, me and my girls sit down and have dinner every single night. And so, yeah, but now. Is
it microwave or do you put it in the oven?
No, you got to make it. No, but no meals more than 45 minutes, and anyone can make these meals.
So you don't know the stats on this at all?
Oh, no. I've done so many Blue Apron reads. I can tell you what's on the menu. A very one-pot udon tonight.
We can all tell each other how to manscape our butthole because
Bro, Manscaped is a game changer.
I swear to God, it's amazing.
Dude, the skin safe technology on the lawnmower 3.0 is
Yes.
and then they've got the light down there, which I never knew I needed a light. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm
Right.
shooting over the toilet. I could use a light.
And did you get the boxers that are the most comfortable boxers you've ever had?
The
And
boxers.
what about the ball toner? The ball toner.
I've been talking about ball toner and for years going like, man, I'm putting deodorant on the smelly. Like I've always said, why wouldn't you put deodorant down there or something to smell good? If your girl's going to go down and blow you, you don't want it to smell like just regular duck butter. You want it to smell like something a little better. And you can't put cologne down there because they're like, God, am I blowing an Uber?
Yeah, you don't want to be blowing someone that smells like a croupier.
Yeah, and so
but then if you do all the manscaping and shave it up for Lent, the whole down package, and then you use the ball toner, you got to be very careful, even though it has skin safe technology, that you don't have a nick or a cut in your bag because it can burn.
Oh yeah, well you don't have to worry about with the lawnmower 3.0 because you will not hack up your shit down there
because it has skin safe technology, right?
Skin safe technology and the little light so you can tell where your clippers are going. Man, I'll tell you what, some of these fucking podcast sponsors hit it out of the park where you're sitting there going like, you try it and you go, because it's a podcast sponsor, when you initially get it, you think, is this any good? And then you get it and you're like, God damn it, Quip. Their toothbrush is my I've been using their toothbrush. I have the Whoop on. I've been wearing a Whoop for 2 years straight, every day, 2 years straight. This is the best wearable fitness tracker that you can find on the market.
Right.
I mean, I have podcast sponsors all over. Thompson Cigars? Are you kidding me?
I don't have them. What about those chews? Those edible, those look like good cigars. They look like
are you talking about the free? Are you talking about, dude? All I have is podcast sponsors on me. This is the nicotine.
I was in Mexico with my wife before this insanity, and I found out that ExpressVPN really works. It really works. I could not get the internet on the Wi-Fi. I could not watch the shows that I'm watching on HBO Max, who's not a sponsor, and ExpressVPN works, and I found out from stamps.com, which was, and I was able to mail their check. No, I didn't have to pay for it because it's and then I'm sleeping better because of the Helix mattress.
You don't have to get me started. We've got 4 mattresses in this house, and they're each from a different mattress sponsor.
Right.
And the one that Georgia has is the best. And everyone's like, when can we get them back on the podcast?
Which one was that?
I can't say because I don't want to fucking shoot myself in the foot.
Right.
They're all good mattresses.
Right. Well, at least it's not the My Pillow guy.
Right.
He's awesome. I want a guy to tell me what to do with my life who makes pillows.
Yeah. That's a guy that had one good idea and just tons of follow through.
He's awesome. So I just really love talking to you.
Oh, this has been great, man. This has
been
really
Can we
great.
be friends?
Yes, we can. I would love. Let's do a cigar, me, you, and Bill, socially distant.
Perfect.
Yeah, and maybe I'll drink then. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can go like.
Bill's not drinking. I don't.
Bill's not drinking, so I don't need to drink. I don't need to drink.
I don't need to drink either unless we're together and we have alcohol.
In that case, I need to drink too.
But a good cigar.
Oof.
I've got these. I won't say the brand, but they're green ones in a tube. I don't know if you've ever had them.
Oh, I think I do. I know.
Yeah. So Bill loves them, and I got a bunch of them. So maybe we'll hook that up, and we'll bring in the new year.
Let's do it. That would be great. Let's do it.
I'd love it a lot. You're awesome, man, and I'm really looking forward to everything you're going to do in 2021.
Bob, that means a great deal, man. Thank you.
I'm really hoping that you meet that girl and have a new baby with her, and that your wife's cool with that.
We can only hope. Hope.
Bring it home in a little basket. And
honey, this is cool.
This is so cool. And it's immaculate. And then your daughters, they'll be fine with it.
Oh, you know what? They need something to raise. We were going to get them goats at the new house.
Well, you lost the dog, so you might as well.
We'll just go, hey, guys, you want to really cuddle with something?
You've got a brother.
Finally.
Daddy, he doesn't have any hair. I manscaped him. With the 3.0.
His nickname is ExpressVPN.
I'm just sending you a lot of everything good, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate it.
You too. And I'll talk to you. We'll hook it all up.
Please, let's do it. Let's do a cigar, me, you, and Bill.
I look forward to it. Take care,
Awesome.
Bert.
Thank you for having me on, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow, I made a new friend. I have made a new friend. Bert Kreischer is just fucking awesome. So I hope you enjoyed that. I did. He's just a special guy. I think all the sponsors will have enjoyed that. And you know what to do. Rate, review, subscribe, and then you listen or download, or you can follow and subscribe, however you get your podcasts. This is there. Bob Saget's here for you. And I'll call you guys once in a while. There's a phone number up there. You can leave your info, and then I'll call you back on days. I'll tell you on Twitter or Instagram stories when I'm going to call you. And thank you. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Tell your friends about it. Make more friends as the year opens up. Here is to all of you having a good and healthy year as we get into 2021. 2020 is behind us, right? F that year. And here we go, 2021. And by the end of this year, we will be in a completely different place than we are as I'm speaking right now. So I'm sending you and your families lots of health wishes and lots of love and lots of laughs in the future, which we all need so badly. Take it easy, everybody. It's Bob, just in case you didn't know after 2 hours. See ya.